Darkness. Endless, burning darkness. At the edge of the multiverse, there is a world not of hope, but of despair. A planet that does not live, but suffers. That planet is Apokolips. And at its throne sits a god not of creation, but of destruction. His name is feared across galaxies. His voice bends armies to his will. His gaze can burn through worlds. This is the Lord of Apokolips. This is Darkseid. But who is he, really? Why does his very presence make even Superman hesitate? And why do many believe that if there is one being in existence who can end the Man of Steel, it is him? Before we answer if Superman can survive a fight with him, we must first understand the monster behind the throne. For Darkseid was not always the god we know today. He was born as Uxas, a prince of Apokolips, a cunning, manipulative being who envied his brother Drax, the chosen heir of divine power. Uxas plotted. Uxas schemed. And when the time came, he murdered his brother and stole the Omega Force. That was the moment Uxas died. And Darkseid was born. From that day, Apokolips was reshaped in his image. His fire pits burned brighter. Its armies grew stronger. Its people became nothing more than slaves, feeding his endless hunger for conquest. And above it all, Darkseid pursued one goal: to master the anti-life equation. A formula that could erase free will from all living beings. If he succeeded, every mind in the universe would belong to him. But to wield such terror, Darkseid already possessed powers that made him nearly unstoppable. His strength was not simply physical, though he could crush mountains with a fist. It was not only his resilience, though he could withstand blows that shattered worlds. It was his Omega effect. Beams of pure cosmic energy, fired from his eyes, that could bend around corners, erase matter from existence, or worse, trap souls in eternal torment. Entire alien races have fallen to Darkseid's might. Even gods tremble before him. When the new gods of New Genesis rose against him, the war shook the fabric of reality itself. Darkseid did not win outright, but he did not lose either. Because you cannot kill a concept. And Darkseid is more than flesh. He is an idea of tyranny. An eternal shadow that rises again and again. So why does this matter to Superman? Because Kal-El is everything Darkseid despises. Superman is freedom. Superman is hope. Superman is proof that power can be used for kindness instead of domination. Darkseid has always seen Superman not merely as a warrior, but as a symbol that must be broken, crushed before the eyes of the universe, to prove that even hope can bleed. Their history is filled with brutal encounters. Moments where the Man of Steel pushed himself to the brink, only to realize that Darkseid does not fight fair. He is patient. He is manipulative. He sends armies before he lifts a finger. And when he finally does, the galaxy shakes. So now the question forms. In a true, direct battle, can Superman survive? Because surviving Darkseid means more than dodging his fists. It means standing against a being who embodies despair itself. A god who has slaughtered worlds. A ruler who has bent the will of gods and men alike. And a monster who never, ever fights to lose. But before we step into their battles, we must ask something more important. What happens when hope meets tyranny in its purest form? And is even Superman strong enough to carry the weight of that answer? The war between them is inevitable. And when it begins, only one truth will matter. Darkseid does not seek to win battles. He seeks to end them. The first time Superman faced Darkseid, he learned a truth that haunted him forever. This was not a villain who could simply be defeated. This was a god who could only be endured. The skies above Metropolis once darkened with fire as parademons poured through a boom tube. The invasion was not the real threat. It was a test, a warning. And when Darkseid himself stepped through, even Superman felt the weight of dread. Their clash shook the city. Every punch from Superman was a hammer of justice. But Darkseid did not move. With one hand, he caught Superman's strike. With another, he backhanded him across city blocks. Superman had fought monsters. He had fought gods. But Darkseid was different. He was not just strength. He was inevitability. When Superman rose again, the Omega beam struck. Bolts of searing, twisting energy that followed him wherever he ran. No matter how fast he flew, the beams bent reality to reach him. They tore through steel. They vaporized concrete. And when they struck his chest, the man of steel screamed in pain. This was the first lesson. Darkseid does not fight for victory. He fights for dominion. Years later, their war escalated. On Apokolips, Superman stood against Darkseid not as Earth's protector, but as a symbol of rebellion for the enslaved. Their fists collided like thunder across burning skies. For every strike Superman landed, Darkseid answered with twice the force. And yet, for the first time, Superman did not hold back. With rage burning in his heart, Superman unleashed his full strength. He struck Darkseid with the power of suns. He drove him into the ground with a fury that split the crust of Apokolips. And for a moment, Darkseid fell. For a moment, the god bled. But even as Superman gasped victorious, the truth returned. Darkseid was not truly defeated. He rose again, smiling, because he knew something Superman did not. Darkseid cannot truly die. Not in the way mortals can. He exists across time, across dimensions. His body may fall, but the essence of Darkseid endures. And this is where the nightmare begins. For every battle, Superman must face not only Darkseid's fists, but his mind. Darkseid does not need to kill Superman outright. He only needs to break him, to make him doubt, to twist his hope into despair. When Superman refuses to kneel, Darkseid strikes at those around him. Lois, Jimmy, the Justice League. He knows Superman's greatest weakness is not kryptonite. It is his heart. Darkseid once kidnapped Superman's adoptive parents, the Kents, dragging them into the fiery pits of Apokolips. Not because he needed them, but because he wanted to show Superman the limits of his power. He wanted to prove that no matter how fast Superman flew, or how strong he was, he could not protect everyone. And for Superman, that is the cruelest wound. But what makes their rivalry legendary is not only the brutality of their battles, but the scale. Every time they fight, it is not a duel, it is a cosmic war. The shockwaves reach across galaxies. Other heroes can barely stand in the crossfire. Even gods from New Genesis join the struggle, for they know that if Superman falls, the universe may follow. And yet, in every clash, Superman endures. Not because he is stronger, not because he is invulnerable, but because he refuses to give Darkseid what he wants, submission. Darkseid has beaten him to the ground. He has crushed him under rubble. He has struck him with Omega beams that left him writhing. And still Superman rises. Still Superman fights. Because if Darkseid is inevitability, then Superman is defiance. And so the question lingers. If they fought to the very end, if there were no Justice League, no allies, no outside interference, could Superman truly survive the God of Apokolips? Or would the day finally come when even hope itself burns out? The answer lies not only in their strength, but in their ideals. Because Darkseid does not fight for survival. He fights for control. And Superman does not fight for himself. He fights for everyone else. The next time these two titans clash, the question will not only be, who is stronger? It will be, who breaks first? And if the answer is Superman, then the universe may fall into silence. The wars between Superman and Darkseid are not just battles of fists and fire. They are prophecies written in blood and stone. Each clash feels like it could be the last. And yet, the war never ends. Darkseid has one purpose above all, the anti-life equation. A formula that can strip away free will itself. To him, it is the ultimate victory not to destroy Superman but to make him a slave. To bend the unbreakable will of the Man of Steel. And more than once, he has almost succeeded. In one timeline, Darkseid unleashed the equation across Earth. Billions fell under his control. Heroes became pawns. Superman fought until his body cracked and his spirit frayed. And when he was finally taken, Earth's last light went out. But in another tale, Superman became something more. Darkseid's invasion reached its height, his armies covering Earth like locusts. The Justice League scattered. Hope dimmed. And then Superman did what no one expected. He broke his own limits. He dove into the heart of the sun. He let its fire consume him. He returned burning with the power of a living star. Every strike became a supernova. Every breath was the roar of creation. And for the first time, Darkseid trembled. The god who feared nothing felt the shadow of fear. But Darkseid is patient. He knows victory is not about today. It is about forever. Superman may rise. He may burn brighter than a sun. But even suns die. Even gods can wait. And that is the true horror. Because if their fight stretched into eternity, Darkseid would always return. Again. And again. And each time he would chip away at Superman's resolve. Until the day comes when the Man of Steel can no longer rise. But Superman has something Darkseid never will. Hope. Not the fragile kind that flickers in the dark, but the kind that grows stronger under fire. When Superman falls, others rise in his name. When Darkseid conquers, Superman inspires rebellion. Even when beaten, chained, or scarred, his presence alone sparks defiance. It is why Darkseid hates him more than any other being. Because Superman is proof that no matter how powerful tyranny becomes, it will never be absolute. So, can Superman survive a fight against Darkseid? The truth is, survival isn't the point. What makes Superman terrifying to Darkseid is not that he lives. It's that he refuses to die on his knees. Every battle is a message. Every rise from the ashes is a promise. Superman doesn't just survive Darkseid. He denies him. And maybe that is the only way anyone truly defeats the God of Apokolips. Because even if one day Superman's body breaks, his legacy will not. And as long as his spirit lives, Darkseid will never truly win. So, perhaps the better question isn't, can Superman survive Darkseid? But rather, can Darkseid survive Superman? Because one represents fear, the other represents hope. And when those two forces collide, the battle never really ends. That, my friends, is the eternal war of the Man of Steel versus the God of Tyranny. And now I ask you, if the final fight came tomorrow, who do you think would stand victorious? Would it be the ruler of Apokolips, or Earth's last son? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more dives into these epic showdowns across the worlds of DC and Marvel, don't forget to